Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Veteran Mountain Man, and I figured I'd do a casual video shoot today. I wanted to talk again about John Locke and one of his determinances on freedom and on war, and what war really is. See, most people think of war as just between two nations, when realistically total war exists between any two individuals struggling. Now, we're going to start off here with a quote from section 17 of part 3 of Locke's treatises. And hence it is that he who attempts to get another man into his absolute power does thereby put himself into a state of war with the other man, it beginning to be understood as a declaration of a design upon his life. For I have reason to conclude that he who would get me into his power without my consent would use me as he pleased when he had got me there, and destroy me too when he had a fancy to it. For nobody can desire to have me in his absolute power unless it be to compel me by force to that which is against the right of my freedom, i.e., to make me a slave. So, what did John Locke actually mean by this? Well, it's actually very, very clear from the text, and I gave you the whole quote there. Basically, anybody trying to make you do things is, by definition, trying to remove your rights and freedoms. And this seems to be a very difficult concept out there for many people to get, because we do have to have a social contract, but that social contract is specifically set up so that we, as individuals who are free by definition, are able to interact with each other without invading each other's freedoms. And so this whole concept has started to erode. And we're starting to see it more and more, particularly from progressive movements. We've been seeing this activity and this action since all the way back with attempts to progress society. And what it really comes down to is that any action to progress society, by definition, is an infringement on someone else. Because the act to try to force society to change without the consent of the society is going to war with that society by this definition. And so all of these progressives that are continuing to speak out against Donald Trump and even against the charter of the Democratic Party and against Republicans and conservatives and libertarians and the alt-right, etc., are actively waging war. They're not waging a military campaign, but they are waging a war. Just like those of us that are fighting back, like myself, Sargon of Akkad, David Cullens, Styx Hexenhammer, James Paulson, A Diary of a Modern Caveman, and so many others. We're coming online, we are creating content, we're deconstructing philosophical ideas, reporting news, showing interactions and analysis, and this is by definition waging war back. But we are fighting from a defensive position because we're not trying to force them to change. What we're trying to do is stop them from forcing us to change. And that is why what we're doing is justified and what they're doing realistically isn't. So for those of you who are watching my channel, If you've come to realize this, support the way. Speak up. Educate those around you. Get them watching other sources. Get them reading. Get them talking. Start them with something light. Start them with something simple. Start them with the Declaration of Independence, or the Magna Carta, or the Canadian Charter, or the founding of Australia. Start them with education about their Western government system. And if you are one of those authoritarians trying to stop and silence people like myself, somehow you're on here listening to me speak, you might be headed in the right direction. Maybe you need to sit down, do some soul searching, and come to an understanding and a realization that I'm not the enemy, and neither are these people who just want to be free. We just want to be left alone. We don't want people governing and dictating and demanding things from us. We want to be who we are. And because we want to be who we are in the right, because we are not trying to take control of another being by force. I want to thank you all for joining me for this live broadcast. Please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube and you like the content I'm producing. If you are following me on VidMe or you're over on VidMe watching this content, please upvote and follow. If you would like to help contribute to my endless cost of philosophy books, production expenses, and everything else, please come on over to Patreon. The link's down below. $1 a month will get you a patronage, which will help sponsor me and pay for additional equipment, access fees, things of that nature. Thank you all, and have yourselves a great day.